Hi, this is Lyndall with Watery Wishes, and today we have the Simon Says Stamp January kit unboxing. The kit is called Snow Much, and I've already taken everything out of the paper bag. So in this month's kit you get some Doris pom-poms in white and a multicolour pack. You were supposed to get a Ranger Glossy Accents mini like that, but I've already got some, and instead I got these Doris foam strips, which I will actually be using in the card. You get 3 of these black tags. You get a red envelope. You get the Distress Oxide DIY Custom Blend pad. You get some needles and some thread on a bobbin. You get this really awesome paper pad. I really like a lot of the patterns in this. And I actually really like the blue, the light blue in this pad. It's such a pretty colour. And you get this twirling ice skater. I'm just putting it up against a piece of cardstock so you can see it a little bit better. So that's the die that came with the kit. You get this 6x8 Snow Much stamp set. You get some surf blue, island blue, and some 120-pound Simon Says white cardstock. You also get the 05 Jelly Roll pen, which I almost forgot, and mustn't forget the candy. So you get the 3 pieces of cardstock, the 6x8 stamp set Snow Much, the paper pad, you get the Jelly Roll pen, you get some needles and some thread on a bobbin, you get the Schoolhouse red envelope, you get the 3 black tags, you get the little ice skater die, you get the custom blend Distress Oxide pad, you get the pom-poms in multicolored and white. And if you got everything that was in the kit, you should have got a mini Glossy Accents, but I got the Doris strips instead, which I'm actually really happy about. So now we're onto the card, and I'm just stamping this big penguin guy. Now this card is going to have absolutely no colouring in it, though it doesn't mean that it's going to be a simple card. I just felt like a lot of people can't colour, so I figured, well, don't think they can colour, and it's really just a matter of practice. So I figured I'd do a card that anyone could do. Now I've used these penny black antique frame dies, and I'm actually making a little frame out of it, and I'm just cutting off that bit because it looked too much the same as the other side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat this piece of cardstock in some embossing ink, and I'm going to cover it in some Hero Arts white embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that, let it cool down a little bit, and then do it again. Now this will give the frame that sort of glossy white and somewhat pockmarked in some spaces because I'm doing 2 layers of it. So I thought I'd got most of it, but I hadn't, so I had to get the tool back out and give it another go. And it doesn't really matter that much that I missed little bits of it here and there because I'm doing it a second time. So here we go, round 2. And when I was doing this second time, I was using the heat tool and, you know, putting it on the frame, and I forgot that the heat tool was hot, and I directed it straight onto my thumb and my finger that was holding it, and it was a bit painful. So yeah, sometimes my mind wanders and things happen. So I've fussy cut the penguin out, and I did that directly along the stamp, and I didn't give it like that die cut border. And here I've just cut a piece of acetate, and I left the tissue paper underneath it because I didn't want it to get scratched up or creased by the plates in my SSS machine. So I'm going to run that through, and this will make it so that it fits perfectly behind that frame. And because the frame is sort of all over the place and not straight, I'm using a small amount of Simon's Craft Tacky glue, and it'll give me a chance to move it to make it so that it all lines up. And if you use it sparingly, it won't ooze out onto the acetate. And I just stuck it under my MISTI for a little bit to sit so it didn't curl up anywhere. Now I'm doubling these Doris strips up. I just grabbed 3 off, took the backing tape off 3 that were on there and just laid them on top. Then I used them to frame in around the frame, and now I'm using this sequined mix I got from Hero Arts, but you could use any sequin mix for this. It doesn't have to be this one. And I'm trying to get all those little tiny, it's got itty bitty stars down the bottom, and they all sink to the bottom of the film canister I've currently got them in. And then what I'm going to do is, since I already had some of the pom-poms, I'm going to chop the pom-poms up and put them in the shaker card. So they're going to be like little flurries of snow. Now they won't move like the sequins. They sort of tend to clump up in places, but you can shake them around a bit. If you shake really vigorously and tap the card, you can sort of get them to move a bit. Now I've stuck a piece of string onto the penguin with a bit of score tape, simply because the score tape has that, because it's got that plastic backing, it's really slick, so anything that goes underneath it is going to generally move out and not get stuck on whatever other tape I would have put there. So now I've got to, I found that he was a little bit too tight, so I'm just prying up that backing and I'm pushing the string down just that little bit so that it's got a bit of movement in the shaker. Now I'm just trying to whack all of those pom-pom bits down the bottom, which I just managed to do. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of washi tape and stick that string to the back. And then I'm going to cut that bit of pattern paper that I used as a backing for the shaker where it's visible around the frame, making sure to not cut where I've got the string. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to adhere some of this blue cardstock. I'm thinking it might be the island blue. And one of my glues has run out, so I grabbed another. Then I'm going to stick the shaker panel to the card front. And I had a little trouble deciding which sentiment I wanted to use because he's sort of so front and center. But I decided on "So much thanks." And I got my powder tool out with some black cardstock, my Simon Says stamp sticky embossing ink, and I inked it twice just to make sure, but I didn't put down too much pressure. If you've got a clean stamp and you are using embossing ink, you can generally see where the contact's made. So I just heat set that, doing a bit on the back and the front so to counteract the warping. I then fussy cut that out, and I'm going to use a little bit of score tape on that so that it doesn't ooze out any glue. I also add a little bit of a shimmer to the sentiment, which doesn't show much. And I just listened to the last little bit of my voiceover, and that noise you can hear in the background is actually a cane toad. It's 1 in the morning while I'm recording this, and it's been raining and they get loud. So that's the card. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. I would love it if you subscribed. I'll see you guys in the next one, and don't forget, have fun crafting your imagination.